Hey everyone, Stephanie Holmeyer here at the Techademics headquarters, and we've got Roberto Ungaro here and Sean Sievers. We've got all of the entrepreneurs here to answer any of your questions that you may have, whether that be with Shopify or with Facebook. We're here to see you guys succeed. We've got tons of information to provide you. Let's see who comes on here. And please submit any questions that you may have that will help you reach your next level in this challenge. Bobby's on. Hey, Bobby Joe.
This guy named Fabian is on. Cindy Cortez is on. Samuel.
Hey, Bobby Joe. Just gonna wait a few minutes, wait for you guys to, wait for more people to jump on here so we can go ahead and answer your guys' questions. Again, this is gonna be a Q&A session with the entrepreneurs here at Techademics. Any questions in regards to Shopify, whether that be with a particular app, whether that be with how to, all of your functions inside of your Shopify store, whether that be Facebook ads, fan pages, understanding your data, anything that will help you to reach your next level in your e-commerce store. Hey, Jem. And, all right. All right, we've got some questions. Come on in here. Let's see. Any updates for the international sellers? That is coming. What we are waiting on right now is to be able to offer you guys a particular company that can help you set up an LLC, all of your taxes, and provide you with a little more information on from this company. But we have not yet released that information. So that training will come here very shortly. when Chris has all the information to give you guys. Let's see, 2 weeks. Okay. Jordy says, I'm 2 weeks in, 0 ad spend. I've done 130 in sales. I convert 40 visits a day and don't convert much. I'm starting ads next week. Okay. If you have a question, please. Right now we. Okay, and we're back. Okay. Joe Ellen asks in regards to a dispute from 2 t-shirts that she sold in May. They said it was unauthorized. They called PayPal to dispute the dispute and send them all the information. Now what will happen? Has this happened to you? Yes, this has happened to me before, and PayPal does handle it. If you provide all of the proof that you did supply the customer with their product, and you can provide a tracking number, then PayPal will handle it from there. PayPal has excellent customer service, and they're all about protecting your money as well as they are your customers. So if you have proof that you did indeed ship that product to them, and they can track it, and they show that the product was delivered, then they will go ahead and side with you. It's really all depending on each individual situation. But I can tell you again, PayPal has excellent customer service.
Dirty Pennington asks, what about sending out what app to use for, I think she meant
Cart reminder?
Dirty Pennington, yeah.
Yeah.
Something about the cart reminder. I think what you're looking for is an app called the Abandoned Cart Protector. So that would be my recommendation. You can go find that through the Shopify App Store, Abandoned Cart Protector.
Okay. Let's see how. Got a couple more people joining us. You're welcome. I'm sure a lot of you have some Facebook questions. So please, now is the time to get those. A lot of you send in all of these posts that you want approved. And sometimes those posts may not get approved because, again, we want to offer as much value as we can into the group. And we will answer those on an individual basis. But here's the time now where you can ask any questions that you need answered and get those right away. So let's see, what does he say? I didn't see him. Okay, about the Facebook Pixel.
What's the confusion?
Okay. Mike, can you elaborate on that in regards to your confusion about the Facebook Pixel? How can we answer that question for you? Use one or use several depending on product type. Okay. Well, I can tell you from my experience, I've used one. I know that others use many, but that is something, and once you have started to sell, have several sales come in and you're scaling, I know that others have used it that way. Sean, what have you heard in regards to using multiple pixels?
Well, using multiple pixels, I've used a total of 2 pixels, but as far as what I've heard from multiple people, depends on how diverse are you trying to go. If you have multiple stores, the only thing I really see in the benefits, or what I've heard personally, of using multiple pixels if you have multiple stores, essentially, because your pixel is retaining data realistically after the last 7 to 14 days, so it really isn't as effective for you to really have multiple pixels, because your pixel is updating every so often, every 1 to 2 weeks. So to really narrow down a good answer for that on my particular part is you only need one particular pixel per store, and then after that, if you want to go ahead and start multiple stores, then you can have multiple pixels to really separate which data is being collected from one to another. So that's my personal say on that and what I've heard essentially when it comes to gathering data and having a pixel. So
Awesome.
Dirty wants to know, Dirty Pennington goes on to write something about maybe having featured in your store that $1 out of every purchase goes to charity. It's a great idea. You know, I've seen some stores that cater to a particular niche, and in that niche, say, in this example, it's a niche store for first responders, like fire personnel, medics, police, maybe military. But the point is that it's a niche that they could feature on their store that, yes, they in fact support charity, and every dollar that is out of every order they donate to charity, like to like Red Cross or to a homeless shelter or something to that effect. You know, that would resonate big with that audience. It's likely to resonate with the first responders audience like that, because they understand these things, and these people, they want to support an organization that gives back to the community. There'll be a segment of society, of customers, that really resonate with that and want to do everything they can to support that cause and prefer to buy from a certain vendor. And so that's one way you can set yourself apart as a store online.
Wonderful. That's a great idea. And Matt asks, how can you tell if the Pixel is working? There is a Chrome extension called Facebook Pixel Helper. And if you Google that, you can actually add that as an extension. And when you go to your store to double check if the Pixel is firing on each one of your products or pages, you can download or install this extension into your Google Chrome. And again, go back to your store and test it, and it'll show you if it's active, or if there's a red, then it'll show you it's inactive.
That'll be
Yep.
Pixel Bay, right?
No.
No?
Pixel Helper.
Pixel Helper.
Yeah.
Facebook Pixel Helper.
Yep, in the Google Chrome extension. Okay, I get one cell paid by MasterCard, but have only PayPal payment, and the payment was successful, but where will I get that money? It's not shown on PayPal. Okay, so you got one sale and the person paid by a MasterCard, but have only PayPal payment. Okay. That would actually be set up through your Shopify, your Stripe. I would contact Shopify on that to find out where that payment has gone and how you'll be paid if you did not set up your Stripe payment gateway. Okay, guys, incorporate my business needs to get Stripe information. Okay, Google extension. Yep. Great player mark. All right, guys. Again, we are doing a live Q&A session today here with all of the Techademics entrepreneurs. And you guys can ask any questions that you may have in regards to your Shopify store, whether that be your settings, the functionality of Shopify, your payment gateways, any apps that you've used or have questions on that we can offer some value for you guys, as well as anything to do with Facebook advertising. Please go ahead and drop your questions in the comments. I'm going to go ahead and let one of our other entrepreneurs sit in here to answer some more of your guys' questions.
While we're going through that transition, I'd like to just remind people that, because we see this come up periodically as far as a question, that they are having a problem with their payment gateway. And so my tip is, before you move on and open your store for your first sale, or maybe you've had a few sales, test that payment gateway. There's a setting there for using, at least for the U.S.-based store owners, probably in any other situation if you live abroad, where Shopify will allow you to deactivate the current payment method you have and then run a test. You can run a test purchase through Shopify to see and follow all the way through to the end, to the point where it gives you a fake, I think it's a fake MasterCard or whatever, it's a fake credit card number you can use to do a test purchase. And then wait a few seconds, you ought to see a receipt come in through to your personal email. So I think that's very important, because in my personal store I discovered that even PayPal, when I ran a test PayPal purchase, a purchase through PayPal rather, my PayPal receipt that was emailed to me had my personal information. So it was then that I learned early on I needed to set up a PayPal business account. That way my personal information wasn't going to be displayed on a receipt sent to my customers. So want to make sure you test everything you can about your store, including purchases.
Mr. Pennington, you asked the question of, if you have an ad it's in the 20 Club at 2 cents on a PPE ad for 48 hours, 15,000 reach, 5,997 engagement, would you duplicate and set to a WC? Absolutely. Because, like I said, to clarify, when you're running a PPE ad, your objective is to get engagement. And so the reason why we want to get engagement on a PPE ad, the reason why we have that objective in a campaign is to go ahead and give yourself that publicity and that curiosity. So when people are scrolling and they see a post that have 5,000 engagements out of 15,000 people reached or whatever it may be, they're curious enough. It's likely to draw the curiosity, especially in the beginning when you don't have as much data on your pixel, to go ahead and click on that ad to kind of see what's going on. We've all done it. We've seen a video that's had 50,000, 100,000, 500,000, 1 million, 2 million, 12 million, so on and so forth, views on that video, and we click on that just out of the curiosity. You might not know what it is, so it goes in the same in relation to you finding, you having that social proof. So that's the whole point. So I would definitely run a WC ad, website conversion ad to that. Starting with whatever view content, and then working your way up the ladder board and seeing the results you get back from that. So 100% run a view content, a WC ad to that.
Yeah, actually, just to add on to that too, make sure that, because sometimes people use different terminology, engagements. It says make sure those, when you're talking about that, you're talking about likes, comments, shares, that type of stuff. So ideally, like the the breaking point is at 1,000 likes, over 100 comments or shares on those. So I just want to make sure when you're talking about almost 6,000 engagements that you're actually talking about likes on that ad. So there's a distinction between the two. So just make sure that that's the case, and then everything that Sean said, to go with that as well. I think Michael, you had asked here about scaling and duplicating ads. When you go to scale, there's actually probably a couple of different schools of thought on that, but what I would suggest is duplicating the ad. From there, you can either run with the same ad budget you had on the initial, or you can increase from there, but let the ad that's working continue to run the way it is, and don't make any changes to the budget or to that ad at all. Let it continue to run. As long as it's profitable, then you're good. Actually, even if it just comes back down and it's breaking even, you're still gathering data. So duplicate the ad, and you can duplicate it many times if you like. Run with either the same budget, or you can choose to increase it at that time when you duplicate too. I don't know, Amber's probably got some good feedback on that.
So there's several ways that you can scale, and I think that's really, really important to understand. You can either scale out or you can scale up. Okay, so scaling out is what Darren was just talking about, where you duplicate the ad. So what you're doing is you're duplicating at the ad set level so that you're still taking that data and you're putting it into another ad set. And you can either up the budget in that new ad set, or you can use the same budget that you were already using. So you're still upping your budget and scaling, but you're scaling out. Okay, you can also scale up, where you can increase the budget of your current ad, but you only want to increase it by about 10% in the beginning, and then you can go up like 20 to 25%. But you want to be careful with that. I say test different ways. Before May 20th, before the update, I was just scaling up. So I would actually go into the budget and just up it. But since the update, I have found that it has been better when if I go up, if I'm scaling up instead of out, then I just do about 10 to 20%. So if you have a $5 ad, I would maybe go up to $7. Okay, and then you can also scale out. I like to actually do both at the same time. Just to kind of see what's working. If the one ad that you go up, if you scale it up, so if you go from $5 to $7 and you don't get anything that day, then you can always go back to $5, back down to $5. So that's typically, there's so many ways to scale, but those are the two main ways, and that's typically what I do when I'm scaling.
More of the story, test. There's fundamentals to follow, but there's so many different ways and so many different tactics to go ahead and follow, because Facebook, the internet's always changing. So it's really up to us, not only on our part, but everybody's watching, is to go out there, take these different tactics. Don't take one for granted versus the other. Try one way, try the next, or like Amber said, try both and see if that works better than trying each one's individually. So the name of the game is testing, and therefore that's really how you're going to get your answer or a result. And who knows, you might get a result tomorrow, and then you go ahead and fast forward 2 weeks from now, you try that same tactic, and it changes. So, more of the story: test, and get a result and adjust. So that's my input on what Miss Amberly had to say about that.
Vivian, I personally don't have any experience with Kit. I would say Shopify support is amazing, so I would probably contact them about that to get that on all 3 of your stores. I don't know if anybody else has any experience with that, but I would get in touch with them. They're pretty easy to communicate with and see if they can help you out with that.
Yeah, I only have one source, so I can't really speak on that. Yeah, but yeah, definitely get in contact with any support of any company. Essentially, if we don't have necessarily the answer, what we personally do is we go ahead and reach out to, say it's PayPal customer support or AliExpress customer support, because some things we haven't encountered yet, so we got to go ahead and figure it out on our own, or go ahead and ask the source. So, but what else do we have here?
A lot of engagements, but no comments or shares, likes, what can.
Who? Oh, Tiki.
Oh.
Tiki, I would, if you can't find somewhere in your back office, I would contact our customer support folks here at Techademics
On the affiliate side.
on the affiliate side. So that telephone number is listed, probably in different locations in your back office. That's who I'd contact.
No comments or
Isam Badel, how can I market on Instagram? Good question. It's not something that that we're covering right now. So that would be probably go to YouTube or maybe on other forums where they're actively teaching and participating in Instagram marketing. So I'm sorry I can't be of help on that topic right now.
Sure. I think too, just, I mean, yeah, we're not necessarily actively teaching on it, but I guess sort of rule of thumb is kind of what Sean was saying before, and what we say a lot is test it. You know, I mean, it depends on the product that you have. I mean, obviously Instagram is a very visual space, so depending on what you have, it could go over well. But what I would say is test it, but set up, if you're going to run ads on Instagram, run them separate from your Facebook ads. So if you're going to go set up an ad and you can go in and you want to make sure you uncheck all of the Facebook properties there, and just make sure you do it solely on Instagram to test it out. So that would be the way that I would recommend that you do that.
100%.
Mohammed Salman, he asks how to get more likes on a brand new Facebook page, which is niche targeted. The way to do that is you provide content, helpful content on your page. So for example, I mentioned earlier how somebody might have a store with first responder niche, like fire personnel and police and EMTs and paramedics and things like that. So if you have a fan page like that and it's new and you want to get engagement on it and likes and such, then put out some videos related to that. You put up blog content. Just really start adding value to that. Okay, so hopefully that's something that you just have to be creative. So you can repurpose some videos that you find on YouTube or other channels, and then use them in your Facebook fan page. You can drive traffic to it.
Yeah, to add on to what Roberto was saying, there's multiple ways you can do that. You need to, if you want to go ahead and create a Facebook page that has traffic and you get likes on it. Number one, you got to create content. You need to be putting out content on a daily basis. Number one, and number two, you can get a lot of organic likes to your page when you start putting out ads. Example, when I first started my e-com store a couple months ago, I was running ads for about a week or two, and out of that week and a half, 2 weeks, I had over 2,000 likes on that page organically, because people would just go off and maybe click on my photo, or they would click on the link towards my page and they would like it because either they wanted, for some reason they resonated with my page. So that's another thing, that's another way you can go ahead and gather traffic all together. And also, going back to the content side of things, is find viral videos that you might want to share that might relate to your space. So let's say you have a dog niche or a dog niche store. Find a bunch of dog or pet related or oriented videos that you can recycle on your page and therefore share, and you can go ahead and give yourself some more content. Because the thing is, you don't have to have all of it. Doesn't have to be yours. Like all of the content that I post on my fan pages, they're not mine. They're not all mine. I'll find them on Instagram. I'll find them on Pinterest or Tumblr, and I'll find the videos on YouTube, or find clips that I like that might resonate or that might have something to do with what I'm advertising, and therefore I have content that I have planned out to go ahead and be posted throughout the whole week. So you don't have to all be necessarily dependent on yourself. That's another way to being creative when it comes down to finding content that relates to what you're trying to put out, and that's how you can get people engaged on the page that you're really trying to build when it comes to the likes. So that's what I have to say about that.
Cool. Dirty, you were asking about, you said you had 5 different products you're going to be testing next week with the PPE ads, and when to duplicate those and switch them over to. It sounds like you're asking when to start running conversion ads. And we kind of touched on that before. Basically, you want to look for the engagement on those ads. Ideally, and I mean, I would say bare minimum over 500, likes on that. Ideally, 1,000 plus, and a lot of likes comments and shares on that too. So, and if you the other I guess side of that is if you're getting conversions off of it, which would be a bonus. That's another indication that you can go ahead and switch it over. But ultimately, at the end of the day, the expectation is not necessarily to get conversions off of a PPE ad, but just to get the engagement, so you have social proof that will carry over into your website conversion ad. So that would be a recommendation on that. Let's see who else we got.
Yeah, Dirty. And even to speed up the whole process, to really gather data for yourself, you can obviously look for the rule of thumb of looking for the certain amount of engagement, likes, comments, shares. But also, if you want to speed up the concept of getting data a lot faster, you can run a PPE ad and a conversion ad simultaneously. Mm-hmm. Like there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing against that. It all depends on how fast you want to move. You can go ahead and run a PPE ad for 3 days and then see whether you're going to go ahead and run it, or you can do them simultaneously. So, like I said, then again, test both ways, see what works for you, and see what groove kind of works for what you're trying to do, because they both work. It's just a matter of figuring out what works for you. So I highly recommend testing.
Richard Gomez says he has a lot of engagement on a PPE, and he says and view content, but no add to cart or purchases. Says his price is competitive, like is the shipping and lowest is at the lowest, and let's see here, and it says he has scarcity and urgency. So I'm assuming that you have scarcity and urgency built into your copy. What else can you do? Well, at this point, if I were you, I'd take a look at the stats in the Facebook Ads Manager, and then check your relevancy score. Your relevancy score should be 7, 8, 9, or best at 10. But chances are, if you're not converting, maybe it could be the product that's just not it's not enticing enough. It's not unique enough. Maybe it's the targeting. Again, the relevancy score will tell you that. So if it's a relative score of 6, for instance, maybe you need to work on the targeting, because the ad's not being shown to the most interested people possible. So that's what I have, guys.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. You want to look at how many people are clicking through the ad, because you can usually get a good indication of where the problem area is by the data. And there's 3 different possibilities there. One is that the problem lies within your ad copy or your image or your targeting, which is on the front end, or on the back end in your store, where it may be a pricing situation, or maybe you need to beef up your description of the product. And then the other option is that maybe it's just a product you need to ditch and move on. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like you don't want to get attached to these things. So if you're not getting any clicks, then that's where Roberto's advice comes into play, is that you're really going to want to look at the targeting you have. You might be going after the wrong audience for that product. And then make sure you have, obviously make sure you have a good image and some good ad copy. If you are getting clicks and you've already adjusted the pricing as far as it'll go, my personal opinion is that you might just want to find a new product and try something new. I mean, we sound like a broken record a lot, but it's that whole test thing. I mean, you may go through 10 products before you find a winner. So just don't get emotionally attached to the product and to the process. Just keep on going through until you find that winner. But use some of those guidelines that I just gave you. You don't want to just give up right out of the gate without analyzing your data and understanding what's going on with the people that are seeing the ad. There's something else in here too. Oh, Mike Pruitt was asking about clothing on Amazon. Mike, I'm not sure what you've done. I know I don't have direct experience with it. What I do know is that you got to go through their, if you want to do print on demand with them, you got to go through their merch program, and you got to get approved to do that. So I don't know if you've already done that or not, but that'll allow you to do T-shirts and clothing, that type of stuff. And I think the mugs you mentioned, you've added mugs before, you should be good to do the clothing too. But that's going to be a question you're going to probably want to contact Amazon on to make sure that you're approved to do that. But it is through their merch program. So.
Okay. So Caleb Bartlett, you said, guys, if I have a pixel that is set for post engagements, I want to mature for conversions. Will it confuse the Facebook algorithm? Also, when creating an ad, it gives the option under optimization. It gives the option to optimize for clicks. Should this feature be turned on? To kind of answer the top part of your question, to kind of give you some substance on that. You're not confusing the pixel. It's like that's the whole. Think about it like this. So when you go to create a campaign, the meaning of a campaign, and when you find when you go in there, you have options to choose to create brand awareness, clicks, engagement, conversions. When you set for a PPE, the objective for that campaign is to get post-page engagements. So you're gonna know the difference. You're gonna know the difference. Your Facebook's gonna know the difference between what your objective is based on what you choose at the beginning. So as long as you make the objective clear, then the Facebook is gonna do its job. As far as, okay, I'm gonna search people that are likely to just click, like, post, share, comment, versus I'm gonna find people that are more likely to convert in a website conversion, regardless of view content, add to cart, purchase. So you're not gonna confuse the pixel altogether. So that's what I have to say about that. So you're not confusing it. You just have to be very decisive and know that you're going from a PPE to a conversion. Just be very clear on which one you're doing and know which one. Make sure you're labeling your ads and you're making sure you know which one is which versus, I think this is a PPE, I think this is a website conversion. Make sure you label them and know which is which. Amir, appreciate the kind words. Let's see. I was going to show what I have. Facebook pages for each of this. Again, Dirty. You don't have to make. It all depends on. You say you have a general store, but I have made Facebook pages for each niche I'm selling. It helped. Are you asking that? I'm not sure if you can rephrase that. I'm not sure exactly if you're stating that or if you're asking a question, Dirty.
It is a good way to go though. If that is a question, if you've got a general store, then what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to create a niche fan page for the products that you're going to be advertising for Facebook. So, it's a good approach. I don't know if you have a specific question tied to that, but that's the way to go about it.
Okay, so
I think yes. I think Bobby Morandino, you're asking whether or not to have that little box checked for expanded interest. No, we normally don't check that little box for expanded interest. Let's see what else we got here. These are great questions, folks. We love the interaction.
No. What about Gary Vee?
Who looks like Gary Vee?
I'm assuming because I've gotten that before. So.
So yeah, Richard, he went back and it looks like he checked his relevancy score, 8, 9, and 10 with all products. That's very good. So
Sensational. Can you walk through what a winning product looks like? Bobby, there are videos, multiple videos on winning products in the Facebook training. In the 90-day e-com challenge training. So you just have to do a little bit of digging in regards to that. There's a multiple where Chris has looked at multiple products. Damien, Lawrence Aponte, John Albertson. They're in there essentially as far as what a winning product looks like. Not even on our part. If you will go ahead and do a little research on what you see on your page. Now that I'm highly immersed into e-commerce, I get a lot of ads, or I follow a lot of pages that I'll see. I see a lot of pages of either video or photos of they're getting highly engaged. For example, from the movie Sandlot, there's this kid that on a T-shirt, and it's in the background it's a light blue a light blue background, and the page has the post is a still image, and it has over 100,000 likes, 20,000 shares, and then about 10,000 comments on there. So that's another way to kind of keep your eyes out on the swivel, because they're all over. Obviously, you want to see, but to really answer your question, you're trying to see something that's already been recorded in the 90-day Ecom Challenge group. Look in the training, and you'll find multiple videos with multiple winning products. What would you call a winning product in today's market?
I think you kind of covered that. It's easy to come across your Facebook feed even when you're not in the business of working your business, and you're just going about your day, and you're scrolling through the Facebook feed, and you come across a product, and you see that the likes are just abundant. There's a bunch of likes, a bunch of shares, a bunch of comments. That would be that would be a winning product. You could search for winning products on your Facebook search bar. If you're looking at selling a little doggy necklace, a little dog necklace, just put that keyword in there and search for dog necklace free plus shipping, or dog necklace limited edition, dog necklace limited time, maybe just even dog necklace, and then see what Facebook pulls up, and then look for those ads that have a bunch of interaction.
Definitely.
So that's one such way that you can find out what a winning product might look like. You can also search just general searches on Google. Darren, what you got to say about that?
No, I think, well, you probably covered a lot of stuff, but I mean, you just want to ideally find stuff that's either viral on Facebook, which, I don't know if you covered that already, but, just likes, comments, shares, that type of stuff, just by searching your niche. You've got, what's on if you're going through AliExpress, figuring out what's being ordered mostly. You can even look at what's selling on Amazon. I mean, there's a lot of resources out there where you can find out what products are moving right now, as far as like actual products that are created. And then if you're looking at like print on demand type stuff, you can look at sites like Pinterest, and where you have ideas there and images that are being liked a lot or saved and pinned and all that good stuff. If that's happening, then people are engaging with it and they like it. So it just really depends on what types of products that you're looking to market, whether it be something that's already created, like it's something from Ollie, or if you're going to create your own product through print on demand. But those are some of the ways that I would go about looking for a new product.
Or the tool looking at other people's Shopify stores and then finding out what their best sellers are.
Yep, you can do that as well.
So-
Model after people. You never want to, obviously AliExpress is a big marketplace, and a lot of people are selling from there. But when it comes to print on demand, you never want to, copy somebody's stuff, but you can model your products after others that are having success. So that's a good way to go about it too.
Yeah, just be creative. Just make sure you keep your head on the swivel, because the thing is, there's so many tactics, there's so many ways to figure out and see what different products are. But the thing is, really, you're making a transition of being a consumer to an entrepreneur. And what does that particularly pertain to is the thing that your brother or sister, your mother, daughter, whatever it may be, you might hear something repetitive that they might have some conversation about or addiction about, regardless if it's a romper, or if it's a fidget spinner, or if it's a fidget cube. A lot of this stuff you can really catch early on. To really just go out there. Right? Next time you're out in public, next time you're in the store, next time you're at dinner or you're at a family reunion, pay attention to people's conversations, because most people are consumers, and not too many people are set in their mindset like they are, like we are in this group. Because the thing is, a lot of people are programmed to buy. A lot of people are programmed to buy something, especially if it resonates with them. So just be on high alert, because the thing that might seem stupid that your brother or sister or your mom or dad might love might be the next thing trending, and all of a sudden you might be one of the first to catch it on AliExpress, or you might be the first one to catch the idea on a print on demand. Just pay attention and be aware of what's trending, and just be creative enough to figure out how to put it out there in the marketplace, regardless if it's on a t-shirt or if it's a product on AliExpress. And that's really a main component I would say for all of us to really be successful, if you're trying to really be ahead of the curve and really differentiate yourself from the crowd versus trying to promote the same product. So make sure your head is on the swivel and be alert. Change your mindset from a consumer to an entrepreneur, and you're really going to catch on things that can really put you ahead of the game. And you never know. Like, look at this shirt. Like, this shirt, it's a cat shirt. It was bought. I don't have a cat, but I like cats. So therefore, I have the shirt, and I like it. And so I'm sure somebody saw it. Oh my God, I need to put this on a shirt. And that's just one of many ways. So just really put your head on the swivel is what I'm saying. So
Dirty brings up a good point that any product can be a winner presented to the passionate enough audience, and that's the truth. So there's a lot of products that haven't been promoted in the right ways to the right audience, and so even if somebody else is already selling it, that's not, you could have a winning product even with that same product because maybe your targeting is that much better than the competition. So yeah, absolutely Dirty.
And actually, with 32, you had asked another question about having a second, whether or not you should start another niche store, if you had another idea for it. If the products don't fit in with, if you've got a niche store now, then I don't see any reason not to do that. Obviously, you don't want to spread yourself too thin, but if you've got some other ideas and you want to start a second store to promote a different type of, different niche, then I would say absolutely go for it. So. And again, that's provided if you can find a way to make those products fit in with your existing store, you can put them on the same marketplace. But if it's two different niches, then you probably would want to keep them separate.
Bridget Reed, how many conversion ads should I be running? How many PPE ads? Well,
still how many products?
Yeah, I suppose like Sean just said, it depends on how many products now. Ideally, you'd run your PPE ads first, right? Or what a lot of us do is we run the PPE ad and a view content concurrently. So it just depends how fast you want to gather your data on your pixel, how fast you want to see conversions. So there's different trains of thought on how to approach that, but that's one such way that people are having pretty good results.
Well, in PPE, you really don't need to run a bunch of those per se. I mean, I don't know if there's going to be anything extra achieved by doing that. Because with a PPE ad, you're going to want to run to a larger audience anyway. Typically, PPE ads, you want to look at an audience from anywhere from like 1 million to 5 million. I've heard of people even going a little bit higher than that, but that's kind of the range that we work within. And then once, and if you're launching a website conversion ad simultaneously, then you look at a much more targeted audience of under 1 million, anywhere from like 200 to 800,000. But, prove those out before you start running. I mean, again, there's, I hesitate because there are people that will come out and they'll run, they'll come out with 5 different ad sets for website conversion ads. So, but I would say get some social proof on the PPE, and if you want to launch a conversion ad at the same time, that's cool. And then once you get some sales on the conversion, or at least some add to cart, then you can look at, adding more ads.
Joey, how much should I spend on daily ads, new store? Number 1, what's your budget? Number 2, put it to you this way: if you have a very limited budget, $5 a day. If you have a medium-sized budget, you can go ahead and duplicate that however many times you want. Like, it all depends on what your budget's allowing you. But let's just say you're on a very minimal budget, $5 a day, and then you can really go from there. $5 times 30 in a month. Therefore, that's what you spend a month. So figure out what that number is and adjust. Figure out what that is. If you only can run a $5 a day ad 15 times out of the 15 days out of the month, then only do it 15 days. That's really how I would go about it. Really put yourself at a particular budget or not.
Yep, that's what we're teaching here, $5 a day. I would even say I've heard of some people running $3 a day ads when they're on a very, very limited budget. But the point being is that they're running ads, so that's good. So $5 a day works very well across the board.
Hey, George, these things are all definitely, we save all these lives. So we've got, now there'll be 81 days of it. So just when you come back into the group, you can find all these videos. So you can go back and watch them again. So that's there.
Can I have his t-shirt?
Ron, what's up? Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
Ron, you the man.
Can I have this t-shirt?
Saeed wants your shirt.
I don't know. You want the cats? Awesome.
It was a gift. People,
Promoting, Caleb, promoting your own products is I mean, it's the same process. I mean, when you're looking at doing Facebook marketing, and branding's great, especially if you've got a unique product that you can't find anywhere else. So just go through the same process. Make sure you're targeting the right audience. You've got great, high quality images that you're using in your ads. Write some good ad copy and test it. But yeah, there's again, targeting is really your audience stuff. That's really where it can make or break your ads, because even if you have a phenomenal product, if you don't get the audience right, then it's not going to go over well. So I would say just stick to the same advice we've been giving you about other products, but it makes it even better that you have your own.
Well, guys, we're at the top of the hour here, so we really appreciate the interaction here. We get a lot of this, and we hope that y'all do too. And hang in there. Stay engaged. Stay in this forum. Just because this live is about to end doesn't mean that you can't post your questions. So keep them coming, and we'll do the best we can at getting those answers back to you. Keep in mind, there's thousands of you that's joining daily, it seems. So it's a very large group, and we're trying our darndest to answer all of your questions as best we can. So appreciate you.
Real quick, too, because somebody asked earlier about adding, I think, a significant other. Just put in a request to join the group, and then we go through those every day and admit people into the group. And again, if you have other questions, unfortunately, we're not going to get to all of them today, but just post them in the group, and we'll make sure we answer them there. And just be patient, because we do get a lot of requests. And just make sure you're very specific in your questions. You keep them as brief as possible, and it's going to be something that's going to be of value to the entire group. And that's the best way to ensure that your post gets approved. And that's about it. So just be patient with us, and we appreciate you guys taking time out to ask us some questions.
Treat the training like your friend. I'll watch some of these trainings over. So treat them like your friend, because they definitely help.
All right, you guys. Thank you very much.
Bye, guys.
Take care.